Good morning, everyone. My name is Musa, and I'm an attorney, and I have been for nearly 25 years, and we have a lot to talk about today. Let's get started. Today, I would like to talk about Senator John Fetterman and the news that has come out on him. But before I start, please, if you have an opportunity to like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. It helps me get the news out, it helps me reach more people, and that's what's important. So let's start out with Senator John Fetterman, the progressive champion of Pennsylvania, the former lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, and the former Bernie Sanders supporter to the point where he backed Bernie versus Hillary. Fast forward a few years, Fetterman's health deteriorates. He ends up suffering a stroke. He has a debate with Dr. Oz. He looks like he's still in the throes of the stroke while he's in the debate. Apparently, this has triggered mental health issues for him, and he's been in Walter Reed for depression. So here's where we are with John Fetterman. We have someone who was a progressive, right? You might famously remember after he had the stroke, Dr. Oz says maybe he wouldn't have had the stroke if he ate a vegetable every once in a while. And then everyone kind of came down on Dr. Oz, kind of making Dr. Oz super unlikable. And don't forget that there was another Democratic candidate in that race, too, that I believe Fetterman beat by the name of Connor Lamb, who was a military veteran, if I'm not mistaken. So, the progressive champion of the Pittsburgh people, who now I believe progressives in Pittsburgh have him at a 20% favorability rating, has become a Joe Manchin type of Democrat, but even worse, to that point where he's literally just spouting Republican talking points left and right, right? A guy like Manchin knew how to straddle the line. This was a very intelligent man. This was a man who knew how to play both sides against the middle. We're definitely not in the same mind space as a guy like Manchin. Since his stroke, Fetterman has gone into rages and has just completely changed his entire belief system. And that's fine and good. This isn't a pro-Democrat or pro-Republican cast here. This is just basically discussing a senator of the United States who's suffering severely from mental health, and all of a sudden this piece comes out about him that says, listen, this is not the same guy. This guy is a genocide endorser. This guy is someone whose own family can't believe what he's texting. We get calls from the family saying, who is tweeting this crazy nonsense? And you have to refer back to it to find out that it was actually Senator Fetterman himself. The gentleman's severely brain damaged. It's bizarre that his brain damage caused him to become more conservative. This is very weird. But now we have a senator who is basically a senator from Israel, no longer a senator from Pennsylvania. All he does is spends all of his time walking around with a flag around his shoulder, not really worried about the Pennsylvania people anymore. So Fetterman here has put himself in a situation where it's kind of clear, you know, that when Fetterman ran against Connor Lamb, AIPAC came to him and said, "Hey, basically, if you will pay for whatever if you spout our talking points." And because of his diminished capacity, he's taken that to a whole new level. Plus, you know, the money is good. I don't know if he realized the level of money he could make, because maybe the corruption level at the lieutenant governor's office wasn't big enough for him. This is real money. So now Fetterman, behind closed door meetings, is beginning to act violent, which is another symptom of this illness. And where I'm going with this is the, keeping people in office while they have been diminished, whether it is by age, like Mitch McConnell, or severe brain damage, like John Fetterman. So, getting back to Fetterman coming out, going on all of the Fox News programming and saying, this report about me coming out now is just a hit piece. That's all it is. And it's a one source hit piece. Meanwhile, there's about a dozen sources, and they're all people who've left his campaign since he's gone crazy, has abandoned his politics and abandoned his policy beliefs. And these were the issues that were going forward before. And as a result, people in his orbit are like, hey, we didn't sign up for this. We want out. And they're leaving. And 2 more just left today. So to hear him say that this is a one source hit piece, it's a mistake. Go read the piece yourself. To hear about things that he's done, it's pretty shocking. You wouldn't think that someone who's a senator would be doing things like that, slamming their hand on a table and screaming, why does everybody hate me? Why does everybody hate me? Getting in your car and driving off when someone asks a question that you can't wrap your brain around, and you might need more time, but your frustration level and your impulse response doesn't allow you that. Instead, you just get in your car and drive away, right? So you start to wonder who's really making the votes and doing whatever for the guy. I don't know. I recently watched The Righteous Gemstones. Maybe getting him a capuchin would be a very, very good service animal. But maybe get him out of the Senate before he has a stroke while sitting there. Again, please follow, like, and share. I try to bring media that you normally don't see in the West. And today was a little bit different, but still important nonetheless. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.